Welcome to Things That Never Happened. Bedtime stories for adults who need therapy. And the name of this episode is Taste, the Flavor of Absence. Without further ado, please put away all logic, lower your expectations, and if you're currently eating, stop. You're about to ruin food forever. Our story begins at the most exclusive restaurant in the world. But nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows how to get a reservation. And nobody knows why they paid $12,000 to sit in a windowless room with a chef who looked like he didn't smile since kindergarten. The esteemed guests arrived dressed in designer clothing and unresolved childhood trauma. The chef rang a small silver bell. "Welcome," he said. "Tonight, you'll experience food beyond food." Everyone clapped. "Please, stop clapping," said the chef. "Applause has calories." The room became silent. The first course arrived, or at least they were told it arrived. Each guest received an empty bowl. One man looked inside and asked, "Where's the food?" The chef looked offended. "This," he said, pointing to absolutely nothing, "is liquefied fried air reduction. And if you cannot see it, it is because you have a childish palate that borders on a psychopath." Nobody moved. The chef sighed. "Taste it." The guests stared. "But don't touch it." Someone raised their hand. "What?" "Taste it with your thoughts," said the chef. Everyone slowly closed their eyes. "Swirl it around in your mouth." Nobody swallowed. "Imagine disappointment." One woman nodded. "Excellent," said the chef. "You are tasting notes." The next course was rolled out on a cart. Tiny train sets, colorful little engines, plastic tracks. A confused guest asked if there had been a mistake. "There has," said the chef. "Many mistakes." The room became uncomfortable. "When I was 6, I had a train set." The guests waited. "I loved that train." The chef picked up the tiny engine. "My mother said it was too loud." She snapped the train in half. Several people gasped. The chef looked directly into the distance as if remembering a war. "Tonight's course is called The Memory of a Train." The guest nervously asked what they were supposed to eat. "You will assemble the tracks," said the chef. "And then?" "That's it. You can eat them, but I don't recommend it because it's plastic." One guest spent 14 minutes doing nothing because time is useless. The sous chef cried. The third course arrived, a single floating bubble. The chef folded his hands. "This bubble contains every text message I should never have ever sent." The guest leaned in closer. The bubble popped. Course complete. The fourth course was a raisin. Just one. The chef stared at it. "This dish is called Deconstructed Mother." Nobody knew how to respond. "This represents my mother. This shriveled up brown raisin." The guests waited for more information. "There is no more information," the chef squabbled. One man slowly picked up the raisin. The chef slapped it out of his hand. "You don't eat the dish." "Then what do we do?" The chef's eyes filled with tears. "Ignore it." Everyone sat quietly, looking around. 3 full minutes passed. And now 30 minutes have passed. The chef was still standing there smiling. And then he walked away and he yelled out, "Now you understand." At this point, several guests wanted to leave, but they had already paid for dessert and they were afraid to know what it was. The fifth course never arrived. The chef stood before them. "Tonight, you will experience gravy of the mind." There was no gravy. There wasn't even a plate. "Close your eyes," he instructed. Everyone obeyed. "Imagine gravy." The room fell silent. "Thicker." The guest nodded, licking her lips. "Thicker than that." Another guest began sweating. "Excellent," whispered the chef. "You have achieved gravy." Finally, after hours of emotional confusion and nutritional neglect, the chef announced the final course. The lights dimmed. A giant silver serving dome was wheeled into the room. Dramatic music played from somewhere inside the walls. The chef lifted the lid. Underneath was a mirror. The guests all stared at their reflections. The chef smiled for the first time all evening. "For years," he said, "I searched for the perfect ingredient." The room held its breath. "It was you!" One woman screamed at the top of her lungs. One woman stood up. "Are we being eaten?" The chef considered the question. "Metaphorically." Everyone relaxed. "Emotionally." Everyone became nervous again. "Financially." Everyone nodded in agreement. This was a rather expensive non-dinner dinner. That seemed reasonable. The chef rang his bell one last time. Immediately, a receipt descended from the ceiling. It was 20 feet long. The total came to $87,000. A guest nearly fainted. $87,000 for what? The chef pointed toward the broken toy train. The train. The room went dark. And somewhere in the distance, a tiny toy whistle blew. Oh, that was the end. Yeah, that was it. Thank you for listening to Things That Never Happened, where the stories are fictional. But the therapy bill, well, that'll be real. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and remember, just because someone calls it an experience doesn't mean it's not nonsense. Until next time, stay curious, stay weird, and please don't pay $12,000 to imagine gravy. And good night.